Hello students, Assalamu alaikum. In today's class, uh, we are going to discuss a new topic. We are going to start a new topic, that is operating system. Operating system we have discussed in previous class also, but in today's class and in few coming classes, we are going to discuss some advanced uh, attributes and properties of operating system. So starting from the scratch, what is operating system? Operating system is a system software which is used to manage and control computer system resources. You know that there are two types of computer softwares. One is application software and another one is system software. System software consists of operating system mainly and utility programs like virus scanner, scan disk, etc. etc. Computer resources means operating system is responsible to manage resources like computer hardware, computer software. Software means application software, and hardware may include uh, input devices, output devices, RAM, and secondary storage. Now come to the examples of operating system. Operating system, we are using Windows. Linux is also one of the examples, and previously we used to have DOS. Similarly, uh, mobile phones also have different operating system. Mobiles have Android based operating system or Windows based operating systems. Coming to different jobs of the operating system, the introduction of different jobs we already have had. Just go through uh, some of the jobs which are done by the operating system. First job is to provide the interface, a screen, a display, uh, a method, a procedure through which we can interact with the computer. That is the interface. Right now you are seeing an interface through which I am giving instructions to the computer, and computer is also giving some output. So similarly, window also have some interface. So interface is the screen of the computer through which you can interact with the computer. Second job is to manage uh, CPU. CPU has a number of different resources including RAM and CPU time. These are the resources which are to be managed. This is also the responsibility of operating system. Similarly, multitasking or multi-programming and time sharing, they both are part and parcel of each other. Then memory management, then peripheral, different devices management, then file management, the file which is created in any program, that is also managed by the operating system. Then providing security of computer and software, and similarly providing some utility programs which could provide some convenience to the user. These are the different jobs of the operating system. We are going to see these jobs, these functions one by one, inshallah, uh, in today's class and in coming classes. Now come to the next definition which we should understand. BIOS, basic input output system. You know that this is a program which is normally written on ROM. It is written on ROM. ROM, you know that, read only memory, and this program is responsible to start bootstrap program or booting program. You know what is booting? Booting is the process which is started through BIOS, and using bootstrap program, all different parts of the computers are checked when you turn on the computer, and after checking different parts, computer loads operating system from secondary storage to RAM, and then it comes to a position where it takes user's command. So this whole process is called booting or bootstrapping. Now come to the next definition or the function of the operating system. Interface we have already discussed. Definition of the interface I have already told you. It is a link between the user who is using the computer and the hardware. So operating system is providing a link, a phase, a screen through which we can interact, we can talk to the computer. Interface might be of two types: GUI, graphic user interface, graphic user interface, and CLI. CLI stands for command line interface. These are two types of interfaces which are normally provided by different operating systems. In Windows, we use GUI, graphic user interface. Graphic user interface means that the kind of interface which is providing a graphical interface. For example, windows, icons, menus, and pointer. You can see when I move my mouse, you can see a pointer moving on the screen. Previously, when we used to have DOS, in DOS we did not have this kind of interface. It was a flat black screen where we used to enter commands in text form. That was CLI, command line interface. So DOS used to have command line interface, but nowadays we are using GUI in Windows. Windows is the example of GUI. So GUI is also called WIMP. WIMP stands for Windows Icon, Menu and Pointer, because normally in GUI interface we have windows, we have icons, we have menus, and we have pointer. So this is also called WIMP. So if you are asked to write some features or some attributes of GUI interface, you can elaborate these points: windows, icon, menu and pointer. Coming to the next function. First of all, understand this thing. When we talk about CPU resources means CPU itself, memory and IO system, input output system. Whenever we need any IO or any of the program needs any IO, it has to contact to CPU, and if the CPU is busy doing something else, that will be interrupted and that will divert its attention towards the request. So in this case, the speed of the CPU is disturbed, is affected. So the solution of this problem was DMA. DMA stands for direct memory access. Actually, this is a memory chip which is also called this is a chip which is also called DMA controller, and it is responsible to handle all the requests coming from different input output devices for the memory. So instead of input output devices sending requests to the CPU, these devices send requests to DMA controller, and DMA controller handles these requests and fetch and write data from memory. So if it doesn't happen, in that case CPU will have to take part in this process, and because the speed of the IO devices is normally very slow, and the speed of the CPU is very fast, so CPU will remain busy with these IO devices. So just to solve this problem, an interface in between link has been established, that is DMA, and DMA is responsible to handle all these requests, and when the request has been fulfilled, then DMA sends an interrupt to the CPU telling it that job has been accomplished. So DMA, you can say, is a technique, is a method which which keeps CPU free from these kinds of menial jobs which are coming from different input-output devices. After this, the next concept is kernel. What is kernel? Kernel is the core or main part of the operating system. Operating system is consisting of many parts, and the main part which is doing the main jobs and performing different tasks and controlling different tasks of operating system, that is called core. So if you are asked about the definition of the kernel, kernel is the core of operating system. Kernel is also responsible to do process management. What is process management? Process management, before understanding the process management, we should understand the process. Here the meaning of process is not changed. We have read about input, process and output, and we have seen that all the computer performing their job in these three steps. But here in this case, when we talk about process management, here the process is different. Here the meaning of process is a program in memory which is in process of execution. A program in execution, right? That is called process. And this might be a whole program or a part of the program. Because this happens that when you load a program, this is not necessary that whole of the program is loaded in RAM. Only the required part is loaded because of the limitation of the RAM, and later on whenever when any other part of the program is required, that is swapped with unnecessary part of the program, right? So any part of the program or any program which is in process of execution, that is called process. Process scheduling. What is process scheduling? Process scheduling means when you have one CPU, right, and many processes, many part of the programs are to be executed, then we require some algorithm, we require some method, some procedure through which we could allocate CPU time to all these processes, so that simultaneously, together, one by one, all these processes could be handled. So for this purpose, different algorithms, different procedures are used. We are going to study in coming lesson. Next is multitasking. Multitasking is also related with process management. You know that, as I have told you, that in RAM we can have a number of processes which are in the process of execution. And for example, if there is only one CPU, then one by one all different jobs or processes will be executed, and a specific time will be allocated to each of the processes or jobs. That time which is allocated to every process is called time slice or quantum, and dividing the time of the process, this whole process is called time sharing. So multitasking means running more than one program. And how this is happening? This is happening with the help of CPU time sharing. When more than one programs are loaded in RAM, obviously they have to be handled, and CPU has to execute all these programs. For example, you have loaded Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, three programs. So these are three jobs, job 1, job 2, and job 3. So one by one CPU will give time to each of these programs or processes. That time is called time slice or quantum. Multitasking may be of two types, preemptive or non-preemptive. Preemptive multitasking means that CPU remains busy with the job unless it is not finished. Means CPU will be free for the next job when the first job is done. Till that time, the next job will remain in waiting mode. That is also called process starvation or program starvation. Means CPU is not able to give time to the other job unless the first job is finished. This is called preemptive multitasking. What is non-preemptive multitasking? It means that CPU will give a chunk of the time to every job, and if the job is not finished in that particular time, then CPU will switch to the next job and will attend and perform its processing. So this is how quantum or time slices are allocated to all the jobs, and when any particular job is finished, that is exited from the queue, and the other job which is already in waiting, here you can see on the screen job number 4, that is included in the queue and comes in the process of execution, and time slice is allotted to that job. After this, come to some more definition. Burst time means when the time required for any process to be completed. The whole time which is required by any process to be completed. That is called burst time. BURST, burst time. Process starvation. If the process is in waiting queue and CPU is not able to give time to it because of any reason, maybe because of preemptive multitasking, then in that case it will be in starvation process, right? So that is called, this process is in starvation, it is starving, भूखा है वो भी, उसको टाइम नहीं दिया जा रहा CPU की तरफ से. Scheduling algorithms, we have, as I have told you before, we have a number of different algorithms we are going to see through which CPU gives time, allocate times to different processes. So here we are going to end our lesson. In next class, inshallah, we are going to see some more details of processes, and we will see some algorithms also through which CPU time is scheduled. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.